What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Clutch Crew Sports YouTube channel. And my name is Connor, the co host with the most. And this is going to be a new series that we're going to be starting on this YouTube channel. You might previously have known me doing the Formula One Power Rankings videos, but today we are starting a new series where I'm going to make various tier lists, sports related, non sports related, and I'm hoping that as we go along with this series that I can get suggestions from Twitter and comments and all that as to what you guys want to see, what you guys want me to make the tier lists about. So we're going to start off with a pretty simple one here in this first video. We're going to go with NFL jerseys. So we've got all 32 teams down here, all the way from the Arizona Cardinals to the Washington football team. Looks like in this picture it's still the Washington Redskins uniforms, but I will still be considering the Washington football team uniforms. So basically, I'm gonna do this all on the fly. I have not prepared any sort of pre-ranking. Like I don't know where I'm gonna rank these. All some of them I have an idea of where I'm gonna rank them for sure, but not all of them. So this is definitely gonna be on the fly. And yeah, let's get right into it. So we're gonna start here with the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, well, I guess I should explain the tiers. So we've got Fire, which is going to be the top tier, Clean, Cookie Cutter, Meh, and obviously Barf emoji here at the bottom that are uniforms that look horrendous. So we're going to start here with the Arizona Cardinals. I think we're going to put the Arizona Cardinals in the Cookie Cutter tier. Basically, also for all these uniforms, I'm going to be including home, away, alternate. If they still use their color rush jerseys, not all the teams do, some of them do. So we're going to include all of that. But we're going to put the Arizona Cardinals, I think we're actually going to put them in the Met tier. There's nothing really exciting about these jerseys. It's just, red and white, simple red and white. I didn't like how, I'm not really sure how their alternates and their color rush uniforms are black. I've never really been a big fan of seeing the Cardinals wear black. I've never really associated them with black. So, like I said, there's just nothing really special about these jerseys. They're just about as plain as you can get, like white and red. There's a couple teams later on that are also going to be in that category, but the Cardinals definitely starting off in the Mets here. The Atlanta Falcons just released new jerseys this year. I thought it'd be a good. That's another reason why I wanted to do this time was because there's been a lot of teams that have released new jerseys this year. So we're actually going to put the Atlanta Falcons in the cookie cutter tier. I initially when they first came out with these, I did not like them at all. I thought they were very tacky looking. I thought they looked like a 5-year-old designed them, and I really did not like the ATL in the front of the jersey. I thought that was not good, but I've definitely started to warm up to them. The Falcons, you know, there's a lot of teams that try too hard to like incorporate black into their uniforms. Like I know, like I was mentioning the Cardinals with black with their uniforms, and then the 49ers when they had their color rush, they also did black, and I was like, what, the 49ers use wearing black? Like that makes no sense. But the Falcons are definitely one team that I've always associated with the color black. I mean, that's the way they were back in the day with their old uniforms, and they still wear those old throwback uniforms too. But these uniforms have definitely grown on me. I do like the red and black, the alternate uniform. I do like the way it kind of, like I said, it starts out red, kind of fades to black, and then the all black. I think it just kind of fits with the Falcons, and the black helmet kind of fits with them too. Um, like I said, if they got rid of the ATL on the front, I'd probably put these up in the clean tier. But the ATL on the front definitely brings these down for me. But definitely a solid cookie cutter tier uniform. So the Baltimore Ravens. Where do I want to put these? I think these are going to go up in the clean tier. One of only 2 teams in the NFL that wears purple. They also have a black uniform that they wear too, but I don't know. I mean, there's just something about them that, listen, they're not really that complex, but I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that the Ravens have a really good logo. Obviously, they got the 2 logos too. That they've got the Raven on the helmet, and then they've kind of got like the B sort of Maryland type shield on there on the shoulder and everything. So definitely a very solid uniform. The purple is really good, and I don't know, there's just not much else to say about this uniform other than it's really nice looking, and you know, I'm personally I'm not a big fan of it myself, just because I'm a Steelers fan. So I don't like to see Ravens uniforms, but I'll give credit where credit's due. So the Bills. Now this uniform I'm going to put up in the clean tier. Now I do really love these uniforms. Personally, by my opinion, I'd put these up in the fire tier if it wasn't for one big reason. Um, because, like I said, the regular jerseys are cool. I'm glad they went back to that royal blue sort of color. In the mid 2000s or early to mid 2000s, they were wearing those like navy blue and red, and it was just, I don't know, it just looked really weird. I wasn't a big fan of it. The away jerseys were even worse. They were like that white, and then the shoulders were navy blue, and I don't know, just didn't look very good. But they went back to this probably about 10 years ago now was when they went back to the royal blue. Very good looking, and I like when they wear all blue. The main thing that keeps this from not being in the fire tier is definitely the all red alternate jerseys that were the color rush jerseys. You know, color rush in quotes because that's not really a thing anymore, but they're alternate all red jerseys. I do not like those whatsoever. I think they are horrible looking. Um, I don't know. It's just like I know red is one of their colors, but like the Buffalo Bills uniforms just do not look good when they wear all red. Um, I mean, like maybe if they tried out wearing like a red and then white pants, but the all red just does not look good at all for the Buffalo Bills. So um, if it wasn't for that, then they'd be in the fire tier. But because of that, they're going to be in the clean tier. So the Carolina Panthers, my hometown team where I'm from, we are going to put them over here in the cookie cutter tier, I think. Just kind of basic uniforms, really. I mean, their main jersey is black with the blue stripes, and then, um, the white ones are pretty standard looking. I do really enjoy the Carolina blue alternates, like the one that Christian McCaffrey's wearing in this picture right here. I think those are really good looking. And I wish this would be their primary uniform, because if this was their primary uniform, I'd probably move them up to the clean tier. But this is only their alternate jersey, and most of the time they wear the black. Actually, most of the time they wear the white, because the Panthers are one of those teams that, especially in early to mid September, they're one of those teams that it gets really hot in Charlotte, North Carolina in the summertime. So, well, it's not really technically summer, fall. It gets really hot in Charlotte, so they are one of those teams that tends to wear their white jerseys at home early on in the season. So, but yeah, if they were to wear this Carolina blue jersey or as their main uniform, then I would definitely say this is a clean tier jersey. But because this is only an alternate, I'm going to stick with it being in the cookie cutter tier, just because their black uniforms, they're just kind of standard, like meh uniforms. There's nothing really too special about them. They're just black and blue, so definitely in the middle there, but still very solid. Chicago Bears. Now this is going to go up in the clean tier. Um, Personally, my personal opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the Chicago Bears uniforms. I've never really liked the combination of like their blue and that kind of sort of off orange that they have going on there. I've never really liked that, but I can't deny that this is a very historic uniform, obviously. I mean, the Bears have had the same uniforms forever, so I can't really knock this too much down because it's, like I said, it's very classic, very historical. I'm just not personally a huge fan of the color combination of blue and orange and what they have going on there. I do really like their alternate uniforms, like when they wear the all blue. I think that's a very good look, but just kind of like the regular blue and white, and then thank God they retired those all orange uniforms, because goodness gracious, in the mid 2000s they were wearing those all orange uniforms every now and then, and those looked horrendous. So thankfully they stopped wearing those, but definitely a solid clean tier uniform. Cincinnati Bengals. Um, Cincinnati Bengals. I think I'm going to put these in the cookie cutter tier. Now, the main reason why I'm going to do that is because obviously, black and orange, typical tiger colors, very standard. You can't really knock it too much. The main reason why I'm going to put them down here is because of the logo change. Now, obviously, this isn't a list about logos or anything, which if the Bengals logo was on here, then I would be putting it down in the really low tier because they definitely had way better logo back in the day when they had the full tiger rather than just the bee. So, but obviously, the new logo has been incorporated into their jerseys. And it's not terribly appealing, honestly. And then and also they cut back on the tiger stripes. There used to be more tiger stripes on the jerseys, which I think was better. And it's just, I don't know, it's in the middle for me. If they had the old logo, like if they were able to put like the old tiger logo somewhere on the jersey, I think it'd be a lot better. But just that B logo kind of ruins it for me. And also, like they said, they kind of cut back on the orange a little bit. So we're gonna go in the middle with those. Now the Cleveland Browns, I'm gonna put these in the meh tier. Now I will say, if this had been the old Cleveland, like the Cleveland Browns uniforms from a season ago, they would be down here in the puke territory. But they went back to basically their old, they went back to like their mid 2000s uniforms because they kind of changed them around like 2015, 2016, if I remember correctly. And those just were not very appealing at all. So they went back to their old look, which, you know, was a better idea, but the Browns uniforms have never been that appealing anyway. And I think the all brown uniform just looks kind of, I mean, it looks like dog poop, honestly. The all brown with orange, but I think it's really just their white uniforms that saved them for me. And the home uniform is better. It's just really like the all white uniform and somewhat the white uniform just kind of saved it a little bit for me, but definitely just in the meh territory. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, now I'm sure the majority of people would be thinking that this should be going up in the fire tier. You know, but I am going to stick with putting it in the clean tier. Now, the reason being, it's not because I don't like the Dallas Cowboys, because I really don't like the Dallas Cowboys, but the reason why I'm going to put it in the clean tier is because I am a huge fan of their blue jerseys. The ones that they only wear like once or twice a year because, normally the home team wears color and the away team wears white. But the thing is, the Cowboys have their white uniforms as their home jerseys. That's the way it's been forever. They've always worn their white jerseys. And so they only ever end up wearing those blue uniforms maybe like once a year, usually when they play the Eagles, because like the Eagles like to wear white at home sometimes. So like they'll have a game against the Eagles where they'll wear them, but they just don't wear them that often. I really, really like those uniforms, but because I feel like the white uniforms, while they're obviously very classic and very historical, they're just not, there's nothing that jumps out about them to me other than the fact that they're historical and classic, but they're just not super, I don't know. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I just wish they would have those blue jerseys as their primary jerseys because I really like those ones. I know also the Cowboys don't like wearing those because apparently there's some kind of curse on them where like every time they wear those jerseys they lose, which is probably the reason why the Eagles make them wear it at least once a year. But yeah, we're going to keep the Cowboys in the clean tier, although I'm sure most of the people would have them up in the fire tier. Now the Broncos, I'm definitely between the cookie cutter and meh for the Broncos. I'll probably put them in the cookie cutter tier, but like a very low cookie cutter tier. Mainly because I don't like the orange jerseys. I wish they still wore the blue jerseys with the orange. I wasn't a big fan. Like I was okay with them having this as their alternate rather than it being their primary jersey. So we're gonna keep them in the middle for right now. Not much else to say about it. Their classic uniforms are great. Also, I'm not a big fan of on their color rush jersey. Like, I was definitely okay with making their color rush the all orange. But while I do like how they've got, the old logo on the color rush helmet, I don't like how the helmet is still like the navy blue. Because every time I see that old Broncos logo, to me, it should be on the baby blue helmet. It shouldn't be on a navy blue helmet. So I would have just stuck with like the regular logo on that. I'm not a big fan of that. So we're going to keep them in a very low cookie cutter tier. Detroit Lions. Probably one of the only like really, well, I shouldn't say that because there's a couple other teams on here that have historical looking jerseys, but I'm going to put the Lions in the meh tier. Again, just nothing really special about these for me. Like blue and gray is about as bland as you can get for the most part, and then obviously those all gray jerseys that they wear are just horrendous. I don't even know why they still keep them around, but they just don't look very good. And I've never been a big fan of their throwback uniforms either, the ones that they always wear on Thanksgiving. Like, it's the same jersey, it's just they remove the logo from the helmet. And it's like, why would you, like, no, I don't like the look of that. It looks a lot better with the lion on there. So we're going to keep the Detroit Lions in the meh tier for the time being. Green Bay Packers, this is going to go up in the fire tier. I don't think there's much else to say about the Green Bay Packers uniforms. They're classic, they're original, they're, there's nothing else like them. You don't see any other real uniforms in the NFL. You look at the Green Bay Packers and it's an instantly recognizable jerseys, instantly recognizable logo. And like I said, very historical, very classic. So fire tier for the Green Bay Packers. Okay, Houston Texans. I think we're also going to put the Texans in the meh tier. Again, just nothing really special about it. Just like navy blue with like a little bit of red. I mean, really, like, there's not much really to say about these other than, Does anybody who really cares about this? It's just very simple, very not fantastic looking. Which is also going to lead me into the Indianapolis Colts, too. Just being in the meh tier, just like a very simple blue and white. Like, obviously the logo is great and fantastic, but there's nothing too special about them, honestly. So we're going to keep the trend up of AFC South teams being in the meh with the Jaguars. The main reason, again, why the Jaguars are going to be in here is because if they had the all teal jerseys, or even just the teal jerseys in general, as their main, then I'd probably put them in cookie cutter or even clean. But because they've decided to go this route where they've got all black, it brings it down a lot for me. Especially when there's a much better option available to you with the all teal, or just the teal jerseys in general, like teal jerseys and black pants, or teal jerseys and white pants. I just don't like this at all, how they went with the all black as their main jerseys. All right, Kansas City Chiefs. We are going to put the Kansas City Chiefs jerseys in the clean category. Another very historical jersey. The Chiefs had never really changed their uniforms over the course of history. Red and yellow and white. There's not much else that you can really knock on them. Like I said, very historical, very clean looking. Just not super fantastic enough for me to put them up in the fire tier. So moving on to the LA Chargers, another team that got new uniforms this year. Now, where do I want to put these? Because I will say, when it comes to the Chargers this season, with their jerseys, they have got some really good ones, and they've got some really bad ones. This is a really tough one. Because I will say, the all navy, that jersey is fantastic. It's a shame that they only wore that once this year, because that all navy uniform is fantastic looking. And I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of the all royal blue, but I actually really like the all royal blue too. The main thing that brings it down for me is the yellow pants. Like the blue with the yellow isn't too bad, but the white with the yellow looks awful. Like, I don't know who came up with that, but it's just like, It's horrible looking. So I guess we'll just have to go in the middle, the cookie cutter tier, because like I said, there's some really good ones in this pack, but there's also some really bad ones. So I can't really put it much higher than the middle. Los Angeles Rams. This is going to go in the puke territory for me. I just have no words to explain how horrible I think this was for the Los Angeles Rams. One, the logo sucks. I don't know why they felt the need to change the logo or the helmets. The helmets looked perfectly fine with the ram horns and everything, the classic ram horns. And then, you went and changed these uniforms, and if they had gone back to their classic blue and yellow, like the classic Los Angeles Rams, uniforms with the blue and yellow, the blue helmet with the yellow, it's not really blue and yellow, it was more blue and gold, with the gold ram horn. If they had gone back to that, that would have been fantastic. But instead, they decided to switch to this royal blue and yellow, which, if I'm being completely honest, makes them look like they're from Best Buy. Like they're out there sponsored by the LA Rams, sponsored by Best Buy. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it at all. I wish the Rams had just gone back to their classic uniforms, but instead they decided to do this. And I mean, I don't know if I could call it better than what they had before, because I thought I was completely okay with what they had last year. Like they had the classic jerseys as their home, and then they had the white jerseys with the white horn, which I wasn't a huge fan of those jerseys, but I was okay with that being their white uniform. But this is just it's horrible. I have no other words. I don't like it at all. It sucks. Please change this, Los Angeles Rams, because your jerseys suck. Now, Miami Dolphins. I will say some of these pictures are a little outdated, which is why I'm having a hard time. So I'm trying to picture what exactly, because the Dolphins uniforms don't quite look like this anymore. They look more like their old jerseys from the 70s. So I'm going to put it in the cookie cutter tier. I've never been a big fan of the aquamarine color, but like I said, their classic jerseys, the ones that they wear now, they look fairly decent. It's just kind of a middle of the road jersey. It's not simple, which is what would put it in the meh tier for me. Like if it was just a very simple design, since I'm not a huge fan of them, then I'd put them in the meh tier. But it's definitely a unique design, a unique look. I wish the logo was still the old logo. I don't like the new logo. But it's definitely just kind of middle of the road for me. So cookie cutter tier. Minnesota Vikings. This is going to go up in the fire tier for me. Another very classic uniform. I love the purple. I love the Viking horn logo on the helmet. And I do like their color rush jerseys too, like the purple with the yellow numbers. I definitely really like those. So Minnesota Vikings in the fire tier. If only they could get a better quarterback than this one in this picture right here. But that's going to be a list for another day. Definitely have a trend here of NFC North teams being high and AFC South teams being low on this list. Guess we'll find out where the Titans fall when I get to them later. The only NFC North team to kind of break that trend so far was the Lions. New England Patriots. Obviously, this is an outdated picture because the Patriots, they changed their uniforms to their color rush jerseys. I don't know. I'm between cookie cutter and meh for the Patriots. I will say, I guess the change to the color rush jerseys that they had kind of puts it up in the cookie cutter tier for me, because these jerseys, I did not like them at all. I've always not liked how, team called the Patriots, your colors are supposed to be red, white, and blue. But, I've never understood why for the Patriots how they've decided to go with this, silver as their secondary color to the navy blue. And it's okay, but you're called the Patriots, so why isn't white and red more prominent in your jersey? no, you've decided to go with this navy blue and silver. And at least in the color rush jersey, they kind of fixed that, where like, it's all navy blue, and then the stripes are white and red. But the one thing they didn't fix in the new uniform is still the helmet. The helmet's still silver, which I'm not a fan of, and I'm also not a fan of the Flying Elvis logo. I wish they would go back to their old logo, the one with like the Patriot who's like, lining up with the football. I wish they would go back to that. So, not a fan there of that. So we're just going to keep it in the cookie cutter tier. New Orleans Saints. These are going to go up in the fire tier. Very, very nice looking uniforms. You can't go wrong with black and gold. And then their color rush jerseys are pretty much the best color rush jerseys that ever came out of that experiment. Like the white with the gold numbering and the gold stripes and everything. Very classic, very nice looking, very clean looking. New Orleans Saints in the fire tier. New York Giants. New York Football Giants. I'm going to put these in the meh tier, honestly. I mean, they're just so plain, honestly. I know that, again, it's like a very historical look, but I mean, it's just blue. Like, it's just regular blue. No stripes, no nothing, just blue. And, I wish they honestly would also, with the helmets, I wish they would go back to the old logo where they spelled out Giants rather than it being the N and the Y. I wish they would go back to that. So it's just very plain, nothing special about it for me. Just going to keep it in the meh tier. New York Jets are going to go in the puke tier. This was a jersey that when they first came out with it, I was like, really? Like, first of all, the Jets changing their jerseys again. It feels like they change them every 5 years. As soon as the contract expires for them to get new jerseys, they feel like they have to change it again. So I just don't like this at all. I don't like the helmet. I don't like the jersey. Nothing about it is appealing to me. I like, their old jerseys weren't fantastic either, but I probably would have put them in like the cookie cutter tier. But these ones I just don't like at all. I don't know why they made the change. It's just nothing really appealing about it to me. I just don't like it at all. Las Vegas Raiders. For a second there in my head, I thought about Oakland Raiders, but Vegas Raiders are going to go in the clean tier. Very, very solid jerseys, black and silver. This is one of the very few teams that I feel like got silver right. The Lions with their gray, the Patriots with their silver, and even the Panthers to a lesser extent with their silver helmets. I just feel like it doesn't fit for a lot of teams. But I definitely think, like the Cowboys have good with the gray on their helmets, and then the silver with the Raiders is a very good look. There's not really too much to knock about the Raiders uniforms. I know it's kind of similar to the Giants in like, oh well, you said the Giants jerseys were just blue, and that's why you didn't like them. But the Raiders jerseys, they're pretty much just black. While the Raiders jerseys, they just pop more, especially with the silver, and also they have a much better logo. On the helmet. The helmet looks way better. So, sorry, Giants fans, but your jerseys are meh. Las Vegas Raiders fans, your jerseys are very clean. Philadelphia Eagles, getting down to the nitty gritty here. One thing I've always liked about the Eagles jerseys are obviously the helmets. I always thought the helmets were very clever. Where do I want to put the Eagles? Do I want to put them in cookie cutter or clean? I guess I'll put them in clean. Like I said, I really like the logo on the helmet. I really like the way they did that. It's a very, very unique color set too. It's a color set that nobody else uses. Kind of like that. I don't even know what kind of green you would really describe that as. It's like I don't know, like a turquoise with more green, with a lot more green in it than blue. I don't really know. Because I guess like the Dolphins, I mean, the Dolphins wear aqua, but that's more of like a turquoise color. This is like a darker turquoise green, sort of. I don't know. I don't know what to call it, but it's very good looking. And obviously, like I said, I really like the helmet. The eagle wings on the helmet I've always thought was really good. And the Eagles, they already have one of the best logos in the league anyway. So very, very good. Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going in, no, just kidding. It's going in the fire tier. Obviously I'm a little bit biased because I'm a fan of the Steelers, but I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with me that this jersey either belongs in the fire or the clean tier. It's pretty much the same as like I said with the Packers and the Vikings and the Bears. There's a reason why teams like the Packers and Vikings and Bears and Saints and Steelers don't change their uniforms every 5 years like the Browns and the Jets and the Chargers have. It's because these uniforms are classic. They're really good looking. They're you can't go wrong with it. Black and yellow is one of the best color combinations out there. And they're all black alternate uniforms look fantastic as well. And like I said, it's just one of the most recognizable jerseys in the NFL. Like if you went up to anyone and was like, oh, you had a Steelers jersey and you like removed the logo and you were like, oh, what's this jersey from? And people be like, oh, that's the Steelers jersey. And I do always think it's really unique too. The Steelers do have one thing about their jersey that's unique, or not their jersey, their uniform that's unique compared to any other team, is that on the helmet, they've only got the logo on one side of their helmet. The Browns are unique because they don't have a logo at all on the helmet, but the Steelers only have the logo on the right side of the helmet. I don't know what about. There's like a whole story behind why they do that and why they still do it, but I don't know. It's kind of like a quirky thing, and I just really like it. It's something that no other team does. Is something unique about them. So Steelers jerseys, fire tier for sure. 49ers, clean. Another historical classic jersey. Not much else to say about this jersey. The 49ers, the red, the white, the gold. Nothing too wrong that you can say about this jersey. Just very classic, very nice looking. Seahawks. Do I want to put this in the meh or do I want to put it in the puke? I'm going to put it in the puke tier. I've just never liked these jerseys. I've never liked the Seahawks jerseys ever. Even when they had the old ones before they changed it in like 2013, I just never have liked them. And especially now that they insist on using all this neon green all the time, it's just like, especially when they wear the all neon green color rush jerseys or like the neon green jersey, it looks horrible. It looks like they're blending in with the field most of the time. Especially since, when they're in Seattle, if they wore those jerseys, the kind of the field that they have, the turf that they use, it doesn't look too bad compared to that. But for some reason, it seems like every year when they play the Cardinals, they feel the need to wear those jerseys. And since the Cardinals use real grass, like real green grass, again, they look like they're blending in with the field all the time. I don't know. It just looks horrible. I don't like it at all. It sucks. I know they're probably not going to change it, but I wish they would. I said, I've just never been a fan of the Seahawks uniforms or their color scheme. They've kind of got that darker blue with the gray and the neon green. It just feels like a bunch of color, like random colors that someone was like, oh, let's just put these together and make a jersey. And it's just like, it just doesn't look good. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is going to go in the clean tier. Definitely, this was a much needed new uniform set for all these teams. All these teams that got new uniforms, the Buccaneers definitely needed it more than most of them. The Browns needed it too, but the Buccaneers needed it more than almost anybody. And I'm glad that they decided to go back to their, early to mid 2000s look, kind of the look that, the same look that they won the Super Bowl when they had these jerseys. It's a great looking jersey. I mean, a very unique color scheme with the red and the pewter. I think the all pewter jerseys look fairly decent. But yeah, definitely a much needed rebrand for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because had this been their uniforms from last year, it'd be down in the puke territory. But thankfully for everybody, they went out and changed them back to this, and now it's up here in the clean territory. So down to the last two teams, Tennessee Titans. This is going to go in the meh territory for me. keeping the trend of AFC South teams in the Met tier. Actually, all four of them are in the Met tier. Um, I liked their older uniforms better, like the blue, like the two blues, the darker blue and then the light blue. I liked the contrast between that, and I wish they hadn't changed it. They went to this like gray, because the shoulders actually aren't all gray. It's like gray and white, and I don't know. It's just not terribly appealing to me when I look at it. Trust me, it makes me tempted to move. It's funny because I keep looking at this picture of Julian Edelman, and it's the old uniform, which makes me want to move it down to the Met tier. But they changed uniforms, so it's still in the cookie cutter. But yeah, Tennessee Titans in the Met tier for me. AFC South representing down here in the Met tier. And finally, the Washington football team. Um, I'm going to put them in the cookie cutter tier. Again, obviously, this is an outdated pick. This is a Redskins jersey right here that Dwayne Haskins is sporting, but, I don't know. I kind of like it, because I will say one thing with the Chargers that I didn't like with their uniforms. I didn't like how they had the logo and then they also put the player number on the helmet. But with the Washington football team, since they don't have a logo right now, they just put the number on the helmet, and I kind of like that. I've always liked the color combination of burgundy and yellow. I think it's a very good color combination. And I don't know, it's just, I mean, obviously they need to find a name. They can't just be called the Washington football team, but if they didn't even change the uniform, like if they didn't bring out any new helmets, they just kind of stuck with, the same uniform that they have now, I'd be okay with it. It's a very nice, very solid looking uniform, and it's still kind of got that classic look to it because the Washington football team's been around for a long time, and it's still got that kind of classic burgundy yellow look to it. So yeah, very solid. So that's going to wrap up this tier list. Quick recap. In the fire tier, we've got the Packers, the Vikings, the Saints, then the Steelers. In the clean tier, we've got the Ravens, the Bills, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Buccaneers. In the cookie cutter tier, we've got the Falcons, the Panthers, the Bengals. I had to get that in there at least once, say the Cincinnati Bengals. The Broncos, the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Washington football team. In the med tier, we've got the Cardinals, the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, the New York football Giants, and the Tennessee Titans. And then in the puke tier, we've got the LA Rams, the New York Jets, and the Seattle Seahawks. So let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you want to see in the future for future suggestions, future tier lists, future videos. I'm hoping that I'm going to be releasing these probably once every 2 weeks. And I'm looking forward to making more of these. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, be clutch.